Everybody has a different version of peak Berleezy. For some people, it was the exposed videos, the days when no cartoon intro was safe, and one completely unnecessary observation could become a quote people repeated for years. For others, it was Until Dawn, The Last of Us, Danganronpa, Bully, The Sims, or one of those random horror games that somehow became 10 times funnier because Berlin was playing it. But for me, it was the Beanie era. It was watching him play The Walking Dead, make the worst decision imaginable, defend that decision like his life depended on it, and then yell at the game when everything went wrong. He was loud, he was dramatic, he was impatient. He would get attached to characters, argue with people who could not hear him.
James, we don't talk, okay? You're friends with monsters. Get the f out of here!
Miss something sitting directly in front of his big-ass forehead, and somehow make an emotional story even more memorable. At first, I thought I was watching because I loved The Walking Dead, but eventually the game became secondary. I was watching because of him. And somewhere between the screaming, the jokes, the terrible decisions, and the moments where he would suddenly stop playing around and speak honestly, Berleezy started to feel like somebody I actually knew. Almost like the big brother I never had. And judging by the community he built, I do not think I am the only person who felt that way. So how did a college student roasting cartoon intros become YouTube's big brother? And why, after more than a decade of changing games, channels, and formats, do so many people still feel connected to him?
Welcome back!
300 years from now, nobody's gonna give a fuck about me, bro. Nobody's gonna think about me. I'm just gonna be a figment in people's imagination. Unless I do something really fire that is just timeless, transcends all time, you just gotta live life to the fullest, not give a freak.
To understand that, you have to go back before Eezygang, before the gaming channel, before the Beanie era, and before Berleezy fully became Berleezy. Berlin Edmond created his original YouTube channel in 2012 while attending California State University, Fullerton. He studied English, served as president of the school's Black Student Union, and uploaded sketches, stories, commentary, and videos that were held together by one thing: his personality. Then, in 2015, that personality found the perfect format: exposed.
Damn! Did y'all see how far she jumped off the porch? If you don't jump your ass into an Olympic arena, bitch, you do great!
The concept was simple. Berlin would take the intro to a childhood cartoon and inspect it like the creators had personally offended him. Hey Arnold, Dora, Arthur, Recess, characters that millions of people grew up watching were suddenly being judged by a man in his room who noticed every strange outfit, every questionable decision, and every detail nobody had thought about since childhood. The jokes were funny, but the deeper reason Exposed worked was familiarity. Berlin was talking about shared memories. He was saying the things people had seen, but never stopped to question. Years later, he explained that cartoon intros naturally made people reminisce. That word, reminisce, is important, because eventually, people would feel that same nostalgia for Berlin himself. Exposed made him recognizable. It gave him viral moments, quotable lines, and an identity people immediately understood. But it also created a problem. Once an audience loves you for one specific thing, changing that thing can destroy everything. Berlin did not want to remain only the exposed guy. He believed he was more than that. So, in 2016, he created a separate gaming channel and began moving into a completely different kind of content. From the outside, gaming probably looked like the easier option. Turn on a game, record your reaction, upload it. But switching from short, tightly focused cartoon roasts to playthroughs that could last an hour was a real risk. People who subscribed for Exposed did not automatically care about watching Berlin play Outlast or Until Dawn. What made the transition work was that gaming revealed something Exposed could not. Exposed introduced viewers to Berleezy. Gaming introduced them to Berlin. During a long playthrough, he could not hide behind only the best jokes. Viewers saw him confused, scared, frustrated, overconfident, emotional, and completely wrong. They saw the pauses between the jokes. They heard the random stories and the genuine reactions. They watched him become invested in characters, and then act personally betrayed when those characters disappointed him. The imperfections became part of the entertainment. His early runs through Outlast, Until Dawn, and The Last of Us established the formula. Berlin did not need to be the most skilled player. He needed to make the viewer feel like they were sitting beside him. Then came the period many fans still treat like the classic era. In 2017, Berlin started his playthrough of The Walking Dead. In 2018 came Danganronpa, Detroit Become Human, Bully, and The Walking Dead: The Final Season. In 2019, series like Corpse Party added even more moments to an archive viewers still revisit today. This was the Beanie era. Not an official era. There was no announcement telling everyone they were witnessing something special. It was simply a period when the channel still felt small and personal, even as Berlin's audience was becoming massive. And The Walking Dead might be the clearest example of why it worked. Decision-based games force players to expose themselves. You can learn a strange amount about someone by watching what they do when a timer appears on screen and a fictional person's life depends on them. Berlin would make a choice, immediately regret it, argue that the game had tricked him, and then spend the next 20 minutes dealing with consequences everybody else saw coming. Sometimes it was frustrating. That was part of it. You were not watching a perfect walkthrough. You were watching Berlin's walkthrough.
Bitch ass nigga. Ouch. What's up, bitch ass nigga? What the fuck are you looking at, nigga? No, say something, dude. Say something, dude. You just sitting there rolling around? What's up? Say something, dude. Say something, dude. Say something. Say something.
His bad decisions belonged to the experience. The yelling belonged to it. The beanie, the chair, the dramatic looks at the camera, the running jokes, and the moments where he became genuinely emotional all belonged to it. You could watch another creator play the exact same game and receive a completely different product. That is why there is no single Berleezy entry point. Some viewers discovered him through cartoon roasts. Some were looking for a Last of Us playthrough. Some wanted horror reactions. Some entered through Danganronpa, Bully, The Sims, Detroit, or The Walking Dead. Different doors, same room. The games gave each group a reason to click, but Berlin gave them a reason to return. He never felt overly polished.
Bro, what did you just say?
I just said bust what on my face?
Nah, bro, that's still gay.
No,
You're gay. He's gay.
I'm not gay.
He's gay.
His humor could be completely unfiltered, but he could also shift into a serious conversation without making it feel like a motivational speech had been inserted into the video. He might spend an hour insulting fictional characters, then suddenly say something about confidence, discipline, or growing up that stayed with somebody long after the video ended. That unpredictability made him feel human. Plenty of creators are entertaining. Far fewer feel familiar. Familiarity is what happens when you watch somebody for so long that their habits stop needing an explanation. You know what decision they are probably going to make. You know when they are about to get scared. You recognize the beginning of a joke before they finish it. Eventually, you are not simply watching content. You are checking in with somebody. That is where Eezygang becomes important. The name gave the audience an identity. The catchphrases, inside jokes, fan edits, Reddit posts, and repeated references created a shared language. Later, collaborations with people like PG, Joe, Rico, Dante, and other creators expanded the world around Berlin. Easy TV showed more of his life and personality. Some Bros made the content feel like a friend group. The Speakeasy podcast created room for longer conversations about entertainment, life, and personal growth. The Ball took a community that had existed mostly behind screens and placed it in an actual venue together. Even one random line from a Corpse Party video, Berlin declaring that something was complete nonsense,
That's some bullshit.
Escaped the original playthrough and became a viral sound years later. By that point, Berleezy was not just participating in internet culture. Parts of his personality had become internet culture. But the closer viewers feel to a creator, the harder it becomes when that creator changes. And Berlin changed. Uploads became less predictable. Some playthroughs were left unfinished. The channel leaned more heavily into individual horror games, while events, collaborations, podcasting, and business occupied more of his attention. Some viewers believed the old energy was disappearing. They missed the years when a new story-based episode seemed to arrive constantly. They wanted The Walking Dead, Heavy Rain, Life is Strange, Danganronpa, Bully, the type of games that gave Berlin time to become attached to a world. Other viewers saw something different. They saw a creator in his 30s who had grown beyond sitting in the same room and uploading every day. They appreciated that he was building something larger and understood that he could not remain the same college-aged version of himself forever. Both reactions make sense. The audience was not only responding to a content schedule, they were responding to someone familiar becoming less available. That is the strange part of growing up with a creator. We expect ourselves to change. We expect our friends to change. But when we return to a YouTube channel, part of us wants everything to be exactly where we left it. Same room, same energy, same beanie. Berleezy's real legacy was never one viral roast or one legendary playthrough. It was the amount of life people had lived while he was playing in the background. And his story did not end with the classic era. His story is still expanding through live events, podcasting, brand partnerships, and voice acting inside the same kind of games he once covered. By 2026, his gaming channel is approaching 1 billion views, and he received an NAACP Image Award for digital content in gaming and technology. The college student who went viral for roasting Hey Arnold had become a recognized figure in gaming culture. But awards and subscriber counts still do not completely explain why people care. I found Berleezy because I wanted to watch somebody play The Walking Dead. I stayed because somewhere between the yelling, the bad decisions, the jokes, and the rare moments where he spoke directly and honestly, he started to feel familiar. Like somebody you could laugh with. Like somebody whose mistakes annoyed you because you already knew he should have known better. Like somebody who could disappear for a while, return slightly different, and still somehow feel like the same person. Like a big brother. Maybe that is why everyone remembers a different version of peak Berleezy. We are not only remembering the videos, we are remembering where we were when we watched them. The version of ourselves that had fewer responsibilities, more time, and no idea how quickly those years would become nostalgic. Berlin grew up, his viewers grew up, the channel changed. But when an old intro plays, when the beanie appears, or when Berlin makes another decision that nobody in their right mind would make, the feeling comes back immediately. And that may be the real reason Berleezy survived every era of YouTube. Not because he never changed, because after all these years, he still feels like someone we know.